Playing from iPhone.
Sorry, y'all. I need to, disconnect a little thing called my, Bluetooth. But, as you can see from that picture, it's what if Deku was freaking benimaru, the nigga with black Air Force energy, and if you ask me, the most in Fire Force, my guy. Like, bruh, this nigga was bodying. But anywho. So, Deku. So, when he's born in, Asakusa, Tokyo. Cough, cough, if you understand what I mean. King of Destruction. Anywho. But, Deku, he is born from Inko and Hisashi, but he has a, freaking, immortality quirk, and then he has, fire. And he can make it as hot as he wants, so he can straight up make white fire. Because if you didn't know, that's how hot as fire can be, because, well, yeah, stars are big bodies of fire, and most of them are white, minus our sun. It's more like a yellowish, orangish red. So, yeah. But, anywho. So, when this nigga is born, by the way, I gotta finish something else. Anywho. When he's born, and like I said, if you all can't remember, I've said that from now on, it'll be, females have quirks and males are treated like garbage, and Deku's gonna rise up and be like, nah, nigga. Like, watch this. The amount of hands that they're going to catch. Shit. But anywho, so, and I will be making part 4 to What If Deku Was Pain. But anywho, Deku being, well, Deku. He then goes and, well, yeah, that nigga got thrown in an orphanage, not gonna lie. So, yeah. And Deku, he gets treated like garbage in the orphanage. He has a, giant scar, like, Luffy's. So, the giant X, from where a kid with an energy manipulation quirk essentially made a freaking Rasengan and went bop. A Rasen Shuriken, and went bop. Made a hole straight through the nigga. But he regenerated because, yeah, he has immortality. Yeah, nigga's gonna be living for a long, long time. But, anywho. So, Deku, he is just once he's 4, he got taken in by this old man. And the old man, he taught him martial arts and stuff like that before he died. He taught him every single style of martial arts. So, karate, judo, boxing, tai chi, kwai jin, fa jin, any fighting style that you can think of. Like, I'm gonna be honest. But, anywho. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'll be making a couple of Star Wars what ifs. Cough, cough. I'm very excited for What If Deku Was Dirge. Especially Darth Nihilus. I mean, not Nihilus, but, Darth... darn it. Frick. Anywho. So, Deku, he knows all kind of martial arts. he has benimaru's personality. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, there is nobody stopping this nigga. I'm going to be honest. And he's like, if somebody gonna want to be with me, they better have power, and they better strap up. Like, nigga. Oh, that we are not the same. Yeah, if anybody rolls with him, they just better know that they are not equals. Anywho. So, Deku, he goes to the same school as Bakugo. He's like the only guy in their class. All the girls are constantly giving him looks. And like, they detest this man for being a boy. And for being what they think weak. But anywho, let's go to the first day that he's in class. And this is like in middle school. So he looks exactly like, he looks like this. He has more muscle though. He has about as much muscle as he does in this picture. But he only has a six-pack in this one. But or no, he's in the same class as Aizawa. Cause yeah, so yeah, he's going to be like the same age as Aizawa when the canon timeline comes. So yeah. But anyhow, so Deku, he's the only male in the class. This nigga, he really don't care about heroes, like, whatsoever. But anywho, so yeah, he's the only guy in the class. And then like, all the girls minus Aizawa, they give him like lustful looks, like. But this nigga, let's just call him Mr. Steal Your Girl. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, let's just call him nigga Mr. Steal Your Girl. But anywho, Mr. Steal Your Girl, he is yeah. But anywho, so he comes in and he's like wearing this getup, but without the mop looking thing. Like, I'm gonna be honest, when I saw it in the anime and the manga, I was like, why is this nigga carrying a mop with kanji on it? And then I saw him throw that thing, and I was just like, nigga, I know you was not bodying niggas with a mop, telling them to clean up their own mess with all their blood on the floor, nigga. Like, but anyway, Deku being, well, who he is, goes to the front of the class and he's like, I don't want to be a hero. I honestly don't want to deal with anything. So if you decide to give me lustful stares, that's what you're into. He says, and if I'm being honest, the only thing I want to do is join the army. And they're like, why the army? And he's like, cause I can kill freely there. And like the teacher, she's just like, red flags, nigga, red flags, cause that black Air Force gonna be a flash forward, not flash back. Sees Deku standing on mountain of bodies. Anywho, Deku being, well, yeah. But, anywho. So, Deku, he, like, the entire time, he really doesn't talk to anybody. But, let's go to lunch period. He's eating up on the lunch, and then, Aizawa, so, cough, cough, She looks like this, but she ain't wearing that get up. And she finna, darn it, she finna look like this. So yeah, but she's wearing like a she's wearing like a standard Japanese schoolgirl outfit. Sorry, but anywho, Deku, he's eating on the roof, and he's eating General Tso's fried rice balls. Well, fried rice ball with General Tso's chicken in them. And then he has some with teriyaki salmon in them. And he just has his box and he's just like sitting over the edge. And he knows that she's behind him. She's like, huh? You eat up here too? He's like, yep. It was like their last year middle school. And she says, so you gonna join the army after you graduate? And he's like, yeah. I take it you were asleep for the first year I was here. And she's like, kinda. He's like, whatever, zombie. And she's like, I am not a zombie. And he's like, whatever you say, zombie. And she's like, I am no zombie. And he's like, prove it. Don't sleep in class for one day. Call me back then. And she's like, shit, I'm a zombie then. He's like, exactly. And she's like, whatever. I don't understand why you might want to waste your life for this country. I mean, yeah, it's our country and we live in it. And we kind of have a duty to help it, but why not just become a hero? And he's like, cause heroes only help on a certain front. The military deal with real issues. And she's like, that's still no reason to lose your life. And he's like, so I gotta have a reason to live anyway. And she's like, there's nobody you love? And he's like, nope. All of those people are already dead. And she's like, what happened to them? He's like, they left. My mom dumped me into an orphanage. The old man and that got me passed away a year ago. And there's no girl that I like, so. And Femaizawa, she doesn't know why, but she felt her heart sink a little. Because she really didn't know love. Like, she's a zombie, okay? Zombie tsundere. Alright, time for a new hentai. Anywho. But, Deku. He says, well, want one? And he, like, hands her one of his rice balls, and she's like, these are really good. Where'd you get them from? And he says, made them myself. And she's like, why don't you consider being a cook? He's like, I already work at the soup kitchen. And she's like, huh? He's like, yeah. I work at the soup kitchen in Nasakusa. If you ever want to come by and help, then, yep. That's mainly where I spend my time. And she's like, you help quirkless people a bunch? He's like, yeah. Because they're all treated like garbage. Them and people who have villainous quirks. They're labeled villainous by society, so they get treated like trash from society. And she's like, I didn't know you, who was so quiet in class, would care for other people. And he's like, don't get your hopes up. And she's like, hey, before you go, do you think there's something that would push you to try and stay alive? He's like, I plan on staying alive anyway. Plus, if I die, it's not like anybody's gonna care for me. And she like runs up to him and she kisses him. And she's like, I do, stupid. And he's like just shocked that somebody cares for him. And he's like, fine then. I'll come back for you. But, while my nigga is in the army, he's just constantly training. This nigga now has acquired the 10-pack. But yeah. So he's doing that. And then, yeah. And then, Deku, he gets the, highest rank of captain. I'm just going to say that's the highest rank in their universe. So, yeah. Sorry. And so, Deku, it's been 9 years, and he's like finally coming back. And like him and Aizawa, they've been like long distance relationshiping, and it's been like working out really, really well. But this is the day of the USJ and Class 1A, and so he's coming back and stuff, and like he like came back like the so he was like coming back the day that they were there, and she knows that he's coming back, and she's like, and she like calls him when like the villains first appear, and she says, hey, could you pop up at the USJ? And he's like, huh, why, what happened? And she's like, villains are attacking. And he's like, if they even lay a damn hand on you. Like, he's just like fuming right now, and he like gets there so freaking fast, and like the Nomu, it was about to hit her. Boom! That drop kick though, and then like the Nomu, it like reclaim, like, come on, why ain't the? But he's just dodging like this, and then he goes dot bop, and like it goes flying back, and then like all the other villains, they rush at him, shink, dot, boom, bop, dodge those, doomph, drat, and then doomp, doomp, bop, boom. We dodge that too. And he like slides down it, and then he like runs at the Nomu. Starts lighting it up. And he's just like, don't you lay a hand on my woman. And then Shigaraki, she like touches this man. His arm like is decaying, and then it just grows right back. And he's like, yeah, that's not gonna work. He then punches her, and like Kurogiri, he like makes a portal. She catches her, and they all retreat. And Deku, he walks over to Aizawa and he says, hey honey, it's only been 9 years. And she's like, you idiot, you should have came back sooner. He's like, sorry, don't blame me. Like, chill. And like all of 1A, they're like, who is this random man? And like Femme Bakugo, she says, hey, don't you dare to touch our teacher, you pervert. And he's like, huh? This is my wife. And they're like, wait, she has a husband? The zombie has a husband? And he's like, don't you dare call my wife a zombie. Only I can call her that. And she's like, don't you dare call me a zombie either. And he's like, yeah, zombie girlfriend. And she's just like, why do you always have to bully me? And he's like, I'm not bullying you, it's just called tough love. And she's like, whatever, give me a hug. He hugs her, kisses her on the forehead. And he says, we couldn't have just came back, and then we could have just went out for a night in the town like a normal couple. He said, and my first day that I'd come back to Japan, I'm smoking villains? What is this? And she says, yeah. King of Asakusa's King of Destruction. He's like, don't use my military name. And then like Kirishima, she pops in and she's like, wait, you're Asakusa's King of Destruction? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, and she's like, starts fangirling. He's like, chill out, don't get your panties in a bunch. And she's like, huh? And she blushes, and he's like, yeah, no. I'm a married man and I'm happy, okay? Like, chill. And she's like, you do too much. He's like, oh, I know I do. And she just kisses him. He kisses her on the forehead. He says, alright, well, want me to go back to UI with you? And she says, yeah, sure, if you want. He's like, alright. And he like puts up the top of his kimono back on. So it's like that. And like the entire class is just like, Katsumi, she's just like, the zombie has a quirkless loser as a boyfriend. Why didn't she just get a sperm donor? I mean, she's probably gonna cheat on him anyway. And he says, first of all, I'm not quirkless. And second of all, we're married. She wouldn't do that. And Aizawa, she's just like, yeah, and on top of that, nobody else likes me. He's like, yeah, that too. And she's like, don't rub it in. She's like pouting. And she's like, or else you won't get a treat tonight. And she like makes this face. This nigga blushes so hard, and he's just like, shit. He's ready to slide them pennies off and get to work. Like, my nigga, they don't call me Mr. Steal Your Girl for nothing. Like, bruh, this man finna slide him off and get to work. But anywho. And she says, you know, you could talk to Nezu and get a spot as a teacher, correct? He says, no, I'm just observer from the back of your class. And she's just like, but why? And he says, because why not? Okay. And she's just like, okay. But anywho, Deku being Deku. Anywho, so he goes back to UA with them, and Fem All Might, he comes through the door, and she's like, huh? Is this the last villain? And she like tries to punch Deku, bob and weave. Nah, this nigga dodges, uppercuts her in the stomach. Bruh, he gut checked her. And she was like on her knees on the floor, like clenching her stomach. And everybody was like, this nigga done gut checked the #1 hero in the world. And he's like, I see no issue. And they were just like, he sees no issue with it. And then Aizawa, she's just like, yep. That's my benimaru. And they're like, so that's your name? And he's like, yep. And they just say, nice to meet you, benimaru senpai. He's like, yeah, sure. Call me your upper class. But this nigga, he chilling with the 12-pack now. But anywho, so he goes back to UA after helping Fem All Might up, saying sorry. But he goes and end of the day, time for him to go home, slide the pennies off, and get to work. Yeah. He hit it so hard it came out of her mouth. And I'm talking about the manly juices, if you catch my drift, bruh. Don't. Yeah, bruh. That nigga went straight. Want another one? Don't. Full power Kamehameha times 100, bruh. Don't. But anywho, Deku being Deku goes ahead and yeah. But anywho, they wake up the next day. He's already making like breakfast for her. And she's like, yes, you're cooking, I missed it. And she's like wearing her hair down like this, because the other time she had her hair in a ponytail. Dang, I saw as a ninja slash knight. Looks dope. But anywho. And like Izumi, she took Deku's place, because Inko, after some 20 years, 22 years, had another child. But yeah. But when they get to the classroom, she walks in, and then in comes Benimaru, 5'7". I mean, 7'5". Yeah, that nigga not 5'7". I'm 5'7". Like, nah. And I feel short, my guy. Just kidding, because yeah, it's funny because I'm kind of having fun bouncing around my height and all my other attributes. I mean, y'all already figured out my age, 16. But yeah, until y'all figure it out, my height will be a mystery for you all. Let me tell you this. I'm in between 5 foot and 6'2". A little closer to 6'2". So I'd go from 5'5" and up if I were you guys. But he walks in wearing the usual drip. And everybody's like, huh? Why are you here? He's like, oh, I'll be accompanying class 1A now. And they're like, ugh, a stupid male. And they're all just like looking down on him. He's like, would you all like me to show you why I'm called Asakusa's King of Destruction? Because if I'm being honest, that's what you're asking. And then like Katsumi, she's like, I bet you couldn't beat us all, you useless male. And she's like, all you can be used for is breeding. Deku? Yeah, he about to kill her. Like, this man's legit just like... military instincts, just thinking of many different ways to kill her. Anywho, he says, alright, come on, class 1A, let's go to the gym. And then class 1B, they're using the gym at that time, and they just see this nigga just stroll in like this, big smile on this nigga's face, and they're like, who is this villain? And what is a male doing here? And then Bloodsucker or Vlad or King Vlad or whatever, Vlad the Impaler or Vladimir Putin, whoever, femme version, is just like, what are you doing here, male? And she like puts heavy emphasis on it. And as always, she's just like, oh, that's my husband. And she's like, oh, you're benimaru. And he's like, yep. But yeah, 1A decided to talk trash, so now I'm, yeah. And if 1B wants to also go against me, you guys are free to. And they're all like, and like, Vlad, she's just like, isn't this nigga called the, and as always, she says, it's funny because she just said, it's funny because he said he's about to show them why he's called Asakusa's King of Destruction. And she's like, wait. they're Hakaishin? And she's like, yep. Asakusa's god of destruction. Never mind. Asakusa. Hakaishin da. Benimaru. Beerus, he's feeling Black Air Force energy, and he's just like, nah, nigga. It's either Gogeta or Broly again. He's just like, it's one of them two niggas. Nah, nigga. It's Deku. Well, Benimaru in Deku's body. Well, more like Deku in Benimaru's body, but you know what? It's essentially like, what if Benimaru was transported to MHA? Anywho. But Deku, this nigga, he starts smacking them niggas around. Call it a poke. Call it freaking darn it, I can't. Ping pong. He's smacking them niggas around like it's ping pong. And then, like, as always, she's just sitting there with popcorn, and she's like, just wait for it. Katsumi, she dashes forward to this nigga. He pimp slaps her. Don't. It looks, he's so fast that it looks like he teleports behind her, catches her, and then throws her to the rest of class 1A. He's like, alright, come at me. And they're all just like scared, because she's like the strongest besides Izumi. And then Izumi, she's just like, how dare you hurt Kachan? And she like dashes towards him. That bitch smack. Like, don't. That thing's hitting different. But anywho, Deku, he then says, you're weak. And she's like still up, and she like dashes towards him with 100% of one for all, and she like hits him, and he like gets backed up for like an inch, and he still ain't put the stuff down. He's just like this. Or nah, he doesn't get hit, he's just dodging. Nigga's just like, nah, you cannot touch me. And she's just like, why can't I hit you? He says, because you're weak. That, and I still haven't even used my quirk. And they're like, what even is your quirk? And he's like, I have two. And they're like, huh? And he says, yeah. But, anywho. He's like, oh, immortality, and come on. But immortality and fire, and they're like, okay. Like, there's a show Ota for that. And then, Deku, he runs, and he goes, and then says, alright, I've had enough of this. Punches, he flicks Izumi out, like, bruh. Out like a light. And then like all the girls of class 1A, they rushed this nigga, dodging, flicking, kicking occasionally. And then it's down to Feminetta. She like tries to like trap him. This nigga, he jumps up into the air, kicks her, and then knocks her up into the air. And he says, incinerate. And like Shota, she's just like, I mean, yeah. So Femaizawa, she's just like, there you are, going overboard again. And he like blasts her. So what they think. But nah. He just makes like confetti instead. And he's just like, there. He walks over to Femaizawa and he's just like, they're all weak. Just pathetic. And she's just like, you do realize you can one-tap All Might, correct? He's like, yeah. Like, he's just like, okay, I see no issue. They should be able to do the same. And she's just like, you should be able to do that. Nobody else can do that. Not even All for One. He's like, okay then, she needs to get stronger before I show them all. It was all for none. And she's just like, I see that little flip there. And she's like, you know you don't have a hero license, right? He's like, yep. But I do have I'm about to tear this motherfucker up license. AKA my wig splitter license. And she's like, huh, that's not a thing. He pulls out a piece of cardboard he pulls out a laminated ID tag that puts class wig splitter, rank captain, king, rank god of destruction. Member, founder. And she's just like, okay. Okay. She not finna argue with this nigga. Because she knows she won't get any cuddles after. And he like sits down in the chair she was sitting on. He's like, come here. And she's like, huh? What do you mean? And she like walks towards him a bit. And he like hugs her. He just holds her while she's sitting on his lap. He like rests his head on her shoulder. And he's like, this is amazing. And she says, not as amazing as last night. He's like, true. But after not being able to see you for 9 years, it's just so refreshing to be able to hold you. And she says, you're weird, you know that? And he says, no, I'm not. I just love my wife. And she like kisses him. And he kisses her back. And yeah. Anywho, time skip to the sports festival. Izumi, she won the race. Shota, she won the cavalry battle. And then for the 1v1s, both 1B and 1A said they wanted to fight Benimaru, aka Deku. And Aizawa, she said, that's not allowed. And they say, so his dick is? And she's just like, that's not allowed either. It's mine. And like, everybody, they look at her and she's like, who even is this benimaru girl? Because they thought it was a girl. And he like walks out and he's like, I'm benimaru, aka Asakusa's god of destruction. And they were just like looking at this nigga and they were like, good joke, only a female has a core. This nigga starts blazing fire. He says, what was that? Grin, activate. The X and O, bruh. And he says, bruh, with this X and O, I'm calling every play, call it football. And everybody was like looking at this nigga and they're like, Black Air Forces. Black Air Forces. That's all everybody could say, because they looked down at his feet. Black Air Forces. Black Air Force was right here, and then he was wearing like the male version of leggings. So yeah, and then his blue fire pants or whatever, and then his kimono and the black shirt and the white beater. Hey, I have a question. If you beat up a white person, aren't you a white beater? Got him. Anywho, so Deku also put in hashtag Goku Black to let me know you watched this far. But Deku, he leaps down there and he like creates a crater and he's like, alright then, fight me. And then like they all just charge at this man. Let me bust them out. Niggas dodging these thoughts. Yeah. Hits cuts me up like that. And you're like, yeah, dodge. Boom, 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 boom. Got him. Boom, boom, got him. Boom. Bye. Boom. And she says, got him. And then he dodges the chick Ibarra with her vines. Those are like the sand pillars. Are like her vine hair. And then he goes in, boom, boom. And then he goes dot to like everybody else. And then Izumi, she like rushes at him with 100% of one for all. Dodging. And then he like drop. And then he like launches up into the air. Drop kick plus fire. And they say that he won first place even though he showed up for like 5 minutes. And then Deku he then goes and ask them all if they're okay. All of them are passed out. He's like, oh yeah, Recovery Girl, you might want to help these niggas out. And like Recovery Girl, she like comes down there and she's like, I still don't know why You and I's are a couple. And she says, and he just goes, because I love her unconditionally. And she's just like, I understand that, but you could hold out a little, you know, on the children. And he's like, nah, them niggas wanted to challenge a god of destruction. They finna catch these god of destruction hands. And she's just like, true, but... He's like, true, but nothing. And she's just like... But, anyhow. After that, Deku... He then just helps when I train for a bit. And this is where I'm gonna leave it off. Bye.